Hey everyone, it is Velvet. Welcome back to more Persona 3 FES. In the last one, we hung out with Maiko a little bit. And in this one, we are going to Tartarus. But allow me to just check my persona a little bit. I actually think this persona is just going to be the one. Because I'm just checking weaknesses and stuff. Narcissus has the weak, like the resistances, but is level 21, so no thanks. Yeah. I think Komokuten is the one, so I'm just gonna... Do I have anything with auto? I have auto Rakukaja. Well, we can equip Narcissus for his auto skills, and then once I need to switch, I can switch to Komokuten. Once we're in the boss battle. Either way, we're going to Tartarus. Okay, so what we need in... Actually, let's go talk to Elizabeth first. We may as well turn in the sushi now that we're just, like, in the area, you know? So let's just do that here. You seem to have completed a request. Just a moment while I check. Is that Inari sushi you have with you? I've heard it's delicious. Its scent really whets my appetite. I look forward to tasting it later. In return for bringing me such a delicacy, I shall give you one of my treasures. My understanding is that it's used in your world for scrubbing floors, but with a little creativity, you can find new uses for anything. Please accept your reward, and we get a scrub brush for that. Uh-huh. Sure, whatever you say. I guess now it'd be worth accepting the gold ring, so Wondrous Magi, so we can get 3 gold rings and get 340,000 yen. Nice. And then 2 red armor plates from Scarlet Turrets. Okay. We'll keep those accepted and do our best. Okay, so for this boss fight, we basically want physical attackers because it's strong against all elements and drains electricity specifically. So you would think that Akihiko would be out for that, but Akihiko's a fairly decent physical attacker as well as off support, so he's gonna be party member 1. Also, since he has a new persona, it'd be nice to just kind of use that. It now has Caeser, which nulls electricity. I think it's just the difference. It might have more movesets. I don't know the exact specifics, but at the very least, it is stronger than Polydeuces. And on that note, we're also going to take Ken as, I guess, kind of our main healer with Kala Nemi. He doesn't have any group healing, but he does get Recalm soon. Maybe we'll be able to get that before we go to the boss. And Kala Nemi is, again, just stronger than Nemesis. And then for our last member, I guess mainly our DPS, will be Junpei. So we'll bring along Junpei. Let's also check out that scrub brush that we were given. I know it's a weapon. I think it's a spear. Yes. It's not even as good as anything we have equipped, so never mind then. But yeah, we'd just be swinging around a freaking brush. Alright, let's jump up to floor 135. Okay. Stairs are back here, yes? So, for this time, I think it's finally time to start talking about some party members' personas. Specifically, the twos who just evolved. Polydeuces and Caster, as well as Caesar, and then Ken's nemesis and Kala Nemi. Stairs are right here, huh? So I'm gonna hand that off to me in the future, who's actually done their full research and has more than just general ideas and contexts. Like, I know the story of Polydeuces and Caster, but either way. So, Akihiko's Polydeuces and Shinjiro's Caster, these two share a myth together, and you might have heard them before. Polydeuces is also known as Pollux, and these two are twins that are also represented by the Gemini constellation. So, in one version of the myth, Polydeuces' father is believed to be Zeus, and thus he was born immortal, while Castor's father is the Spartan king Tyndareus, so he was born mortal. Both of their mothers are Leda. However, the exact details of this and whether Zeus was involved at all vary. Sometimes they're both mortal, sometimes they're both demigods, sometimes one is mortal and the other isn't, but if that's the case, Castor is almost always the mortal one. Together they're also known as the Dioscuri, but anyway, so similar to Akihiko, Polydeuces is known as a very gifted boxer, and famously, while accompanying the hero Jason on the Argo, he defeated King Amycus in a boxing match. Meanwhile, Caster favored horseback, which doesn't reflect Shinjiro very much, but it is reflected in their persona designs, where they both have very similar designs, just with different color schemes, and Caster is riding a horse. Helen of Troy is also their sister, and at one point Helen is abducted by Theseus, and the brothers invade his home in order to rescue her by counter-capturing his mother. They, however, despite Helen being their sister, never actually participate in the Trojan War. Their story ends before that. But the most important and relevant part of their story is the death of Caster. See, Polydeuces and Caster essentially got into a sort of parallel love triangle affair with their cousins. Their cousins, Lynceus and Eris, were betrothed to the sisters Phoebe and Hilaria, who the twins also happened to fancy. As such, they abducted those sisters and produced children of their own with them, causing their cousins to retaliate. In a long, drawn-out conflict across Greece, Caster was killed by Eris with his spear, but was able to warn Polydeuces before his death, protecting him. Lynceus was thus killed by Polydeuces, and then Eris tried to kill Polydeuces, but was struck down by a thunderbolt, probably Zeus, leaving Polydeuces as the only survivor in this conflict. Polydeuces, grief-stricken over the loss of his brother, begged Zeus to bring Caster back to life, and Zeus offered him a choice. Either Polydeuces could simply just come up to Mount Olympus alone, or he could give half of his immortality to Caster. He chose the latter, causing the two to spend their time together, half of it on Olympus and half in the underworld, alternating. And then later they became deified and became the constellation known as Gemini. Now, the reason I waited so long to talk about party members' personas should be obvious, especially with this one. While Aki and Shinji's relationship is different and their story plays out differently, they still have a close, almost brotherly bond with one another, and despite their bickering, trust each other greatly. They're a matched set, but in the end, Akihiko is the one blessed with life, and Shinji is the one who dies. Shinji's death being the most important bit here. Even Caster's own death mimics Shinji in a way, because while Shinji was killed with lead rather than a spear, he was still threatened by one via Ken. And as Caster spent his last moments protecting Polydeuces, Shinji spent his last moments protecting everyone else. And I choose to believe that even the act of Polydeuces giving Caster immortality takes its own form, in that I believe the personas Polydeuces and Caster fuse together to create Caesar. Which brings me to Caesar. The name, of course, first and foremost brings to mind Julius Caesar and his son Augustus Caesar, legendary rulers of the Roman Empire, known for conquering much of the known world at the time, like the Greek Alexander the Great did before them, and their influence on Western civilization moving forward is very well documented. But after their reigns as leaders, Caesar simply became a title that the rulers of the Roman Empire earned when they ascended. As such, it's pretty difficult to say which, if any, of the Roman emperors would best fit Akihiko, but I don't think that's the point. And I've read some other theories, both on Tumblr and GameFAQs, for example, that argues a different point that I agree with. Instead, I think it's best to look at the design of the persona and the symbolic meaning of Caesar rather than any specific actions. The general consensus, which I find myself agreeing with, is that the persona represents the general idea of a leader as a whole, and how one person, however seemingly insignificant, can wield great power and enact great change. Take a closer look at the persona, because if you're like me, the first time you played it, you probably just focused on the bigger persona as a whole. You know, the man holding the sword and the earth in his hands. But in his chest, there's a cavity with a smaller person in there, which, again, on my first time playing through, I missed somehow. But it's almost seemingly wielding the rest of Persona like a mech or something, wielding power much bigger than himself in order to accomplish what he needs to. Literally what Akihiko is doing with his persona. But also you can easily just say, Akihiko is just some guy. Nothing really all that special about him. I'm sure he's talented in boxing, but like, that's a learned skill he taught himself because of his great resolve and his determination to protect others. And through that determination, he becomes immensely reliable and is easily one of your most stalwart companions. And that is what Caesar represents. Moving on to the next character in the list is Ken, who is represented by Nemesis, which the reason for that's going to be pretty obvious pretty quickly, given that Nemesis is a personification of vengeance and resentment and is responsible for enacting divine retribution against mortals. And given that Ken's motivation is primarily vengeance against Shinjiro, it's a pretty easy connection to make. Furthermore, there are also variations on Caeser and Polydeuces' story in where Nemesis is their mother instead of Leda, where Nemesis transforms into a goose to evade Zeus, who transforms into a swan and catches her, and the eggs she lay produce Caeser and Polydeuces, which she passes on to Leda to take care of. Nemesis can also be the daughter of several different gods, but the most relevant to Persona is the idea that she's the daughter of Erebus and Nyx, because then that makes some of her siblings, Thanatos, Death, Moros, who is Jin's persona, and Hypnos, who is Takeya's persona, and that connection implicitly ties all of their fates together, in my opinion. So, in other words, Ken's fate is intrinsically tied to Death, Jin, and Takaya. Another minor note is, remember how Shinjiro died to a spear? Ken's weapon is a spear, which which all of this together, alongside being vengeance, I think heavily foreshadows Ken's role in Shinji's death. Again, the circumstances are different, but Ken's actions are what created that scenario. Otherwise, just Nemesis is a pretty consistent goddess in Greek myth, as divine retribution is a very frequent theme, but most notably for our purposes, as we've covered this story before, she has a role in Narcissus' story, as some interpretations point to her being the one that lured Narcissus to his death. Now, Kala Nemi, which is Ken's ultimate persona, which, as an aside, is a bit of a funny one for me because most of the personas for the main cast, not all of them, but most have roots in Greco-Roman mythology, whereas Kala Nemi is a demon in Hindu mythology, which is a different region. But either way, Kala Nemi is a demon who is described in the epic Ramayana. So Kala Nemi's story involves him being tasked by Ravana to stop Hanuman from retrieving a divine herb, as Hanuman needs it to revive one of his allies, Lakshmana, who was incapacitated during his war with Ravana. Kala Nemi, as a reward for completing this task, was promised to be given half of Ravana's kingdom to rule over, especially if he succeeded and killed Hanuman. So Kala Nemi tried various tricks to catch Hanuman off guard, such as disguising himself as a sage and inviting Hanuman to make use of his bath, which Hanuman accepts. Then Kala Nemi releases a crocodile into the bath Hanuman is bathing in, but this fails as Hanuman kills the crocodile. And the crocodile is revealed to be an Apsaras who is cursed to take on that form, who then informs Hanuman of Kala Nemi's plan. Hanuman then confronts Kala Nemi and defeats him, killing him in some stories, others just tying him up. Now, like Caesar, how I think this ties into Ken's arc is not my own reasoning. Instead, what I believe comes from a GameFAQs thread where this question is asked, and user Protagonist94 explains that both Ken and Kala Nemi were on a mission to kill someone, not over evil, but because they believed they had to. They failed in the goal that they set out to do, but still through it put a lot of misery into the world through their actions. So, to quote this user directly, Kala Nemi is basically the representation of Ken failing to kill the person who accidentally killed his mother, and deciding to not let his grudge or hatred for Shinjiro control his life, but instead to keep moving forward. And I think that's really nice. And I agree with that. I think that sums it up quite aptly. I'm also going to talk about Cerberus here, because Koromaru's persona doesn't actually evolve, and we basically know Koromaru's story already. So, let's talk about Cerberus. Cerberus is famously the guard dog for Hades, and is popularly thought to have 3 heads and a tail of a snake, but that's not always true. But right off the bat, it's very easy to connect the two, for they are both dogs who protect places important to them, with Koromaru protecting the shrine of his master even after his master's death, and of course Cerberus protecting Hades. Another connection to that is both of the places that they protect are very much divine places. We can also connect him to the protagonist, as Cerberus appears in Orpheus' myth, being charmed by the bard and letting him through, which could be easily reflected upon how Koromaru decides to work with Seas, and by extension, the protagonist, aiding their exploration of Tartarus. He also appears in the story of Heracles' 12 Labors, in which Heracles' final labor is capturing Cerberus and removing him from, and later returning him to, the underworld. So, there we go. The personas of Akihiko, Shinjiro, Ken, and Koromaru, and their stories, and how I believe they connect to the stories of those that they represent. Of course, mythology is vast, so there are very likely things that went over my head, or I just missed, or I could not make the connection. So if you are watching this and would like to contribute your own thoughts, I would absolutely love to hear them. Feel free to comment them and let me know what you think, or just call me an idiot if I connected things poorly. Don't do that, don't be mean, but like, you know, I would love to hear opinions. I sense 3 shadows in the middle. Please be careful. I certainly will. So first off, we are gonna go back to the first floor, of course, to save and everything. But also to register Narcissus, because you may have noticed me switching off of him at one point once he got to level 23, because I would like to register him as close to the final level up as possible to make farming for his bond item just a little bit easier, because I do want 4 of them eventually, and having him... I think I can register all of these, but Voski. But yeah, having him closer to that final level up makes farming for that so much easier, you know? So we're gonna do that. Okay, I'm gonna switch into Narcissus real quick just to give myself the auto skills at the very beginning, and then once the fight begins proper, then I will switch into something more useful. Whew.
This is a tough one. Watch each other's backs.
No kidding. Welcome to the Hell Knight.
Give me a sec.
They have tier 3 Zeo skills, both Zeodyne and Maziodyne, as well as they can poison. They have multiple physical attacks. They can put up a Tetrakarn to reflect physical attacks, and they have electricity break. So Akihiko's null electricity isn't necessarily the godsend it seems. Nor is my own resistance to electricity. But, or I guess furthermore, they are also resistant to every element. So physical attacks are basically your best bet here. Ken, I'm gonna put you on heal support. Akihiko, you too, actually. Your Torundas might come in handy. And then Junpei, I'm just gonna put you on knockdown to ensure that you're doing physical attacks. And now I'm actually going to... Yeah, I'll switch to Jack Black Frost real quick, because of Marakunda, I think, might come in handy. Just so we can at least get one of them down as soon as possible. Secunda, okay. That also works. I was hoping for Rakunda. Or Tarunda, excuse me. Mind Charge. That also sucks. Especially if they... Ooh. Yeah, I was about to say, especially if they pair it with Elec Break.
That wasn't good.
And I don't have any personas that I can, like... I think this has Matarunda, but it's also weak to electricity, so that's just flat out unsafe. So I'm just gonna switch to this for now for my resistances. And what items do I have? Oh, even if I had... Yeah, I do have a magic mirror, but I don't want to put one up because they drain it. So I'd reflect it and they'd heal. A protection sutra would certainly be helpful, though. Maybe I want to switch him off that instead, because it looks like all he's going for are his weapon attacks. But
Akihiko-senpai is in trouble.
I want him to do more than that. Maybe that's just simply his strongest physical attack. That's entirely possible, but I'm still gonna take him off it for now, just in case. I could go for a swift strike and go for all of them, but I think I want to focus on one for now, because I think thinning their numbers would probably be... Yeah, that'll do. Will probably be the most helpful. I'm surprised you went for a Secunda there. I'm surprised you didn't go for a heal. Not that I mind if it means they're gonna attack me and miss. It's just surprising, you know? Holy triple dodge. Well done, everyone. That is unbelievably helpful. There go my auto skills. Okay. Yeah, this is the one I want to focus on for now. Nice! I'm not going to go for trying to knock more down because I don't think I'm going to get it. So I'm just going to keep focusing on this guy. And hopefully, once we get him down, things will get so much safer, you know? Yeah, I guess just his standard slash attack is his most powerful physical attack then. Damn, Junpei, you gotta level up and get better skills. Tetrakarn, huh?
That wasn't good.
I'm just gonna tank the physical hit myself. Sucks that I can't really replenish that without waiting for it to wear off. Yeah, I'm just gonna tank the Tetrakarn myself so someone else can jump in and miss. Okay.
I won't lose.
Junpei-kun!
Yeah, that,
That wasn't good.
kinda sucks. I'm not gonna lie.
Junpei-kun still can't move.
Cool. Not my concern. I'll save the Soma. Let's go for the bead chain for now, I guess. Because we're in a bit of a dangerous spot here. I want to get back into full health. You gonna hit the guy this time, Junpei? You will, but you won't kill him. Good to know. That's fine. Hit me with the Zeodyne.
Watch this.
Well, at the very least, unless we miss again... Okay, good. Really? You're going for... Oh, I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. They have, they have a Tetrakarn up. Man, I was gonna knock down their barrier, but I guess using the Protection Sutra... No longer the concern, because I'm at max health. I'll just tank the damage here, and then... Yeah, this one has less health, so let's just knock down this one's, this one's banner? No. Barrier. Uh-oh. Bye, Junpei. Oh! Not by- oh, yeah, bye, Junpei. Oh, no. Oh no. Bye, everyone. Ken, you have reharm, do you not?
Look out! That wasn't good.
That also helps, I guess, but it only stalls.
Okay.
Because I don't get to attack this turn.
Ken-kun is unconscious.
I'm surprised you didn't go for healing at all, Akihiko. Let's try this again. Okay, mind charge for one turn. That's not ideal, I guess, but it'll do. Aki is next. Yep, that's about what was expected. Okay, elect break, ideal. I mean, not ideal. Ideal would be an attack that misses, but it's like the least dangerous of something that's reliable, you know? And I'm just gonna revival bead Junpei. I don't want to use up all my bombs of life, you know? Okay. We are back in it. But God, was that terrifying.
Couldn't finish it off.
Okay. We will use our other protection sutra, I guess. Just because I am terrified. Thank you. Right, they know Mudo. Thank God I had a homunculus.
Akihiko-senpai is in trouble. That wasn't good.
We are all in trouble, Fuka. I am barely hanging on with a prayer. Wow, you finally used a healing spell, did you?
That one just won't die.
It sure won't. Hopefully it dies soon. Finally able to get some attacks in. Thank God for a critical hit. You know what? Hey, Junpei.
Alright, fine.
Yeah, we'll put you back on knockdown. Because I think... I'll just... Does this count as a stat bonus? I don't know. Does it have mind charge? I don't know. Either way, not having this thing not have an opportunity to attack. Great. Actually, especially good, given that
Now you're strong.
it knocked us down. Hey, you wanna thank God. Wrong person to heal. But Junpei got a critical hit, so we're still somewhat safe. Not in the best position still, but safe.
The enemies return to normal.
Okay. I can... I can cope with a mind charge. Are you healing yourself? Of course you are.
Don't overdo it.
Okay, good.
Take that!
You know, ideally, we'd get another critical hit and knock this down again, so we don't have to deal with two of these guys at once. But unfortunately, it was not to be. I think Akihiko's gone. Unless his affinity reverted. Yes, it did. Okay. Might be worth using another bead chain here to get everyone back to health. Because there's another mind charge going.
That one just won't die.
And I think it's the one we're not about to kill that has it up. So... yeah. This is the safest option. Okay, bye, Ken. Because this thing is... oh, that was the one with the mind charge. It used a Rakukaja. Whatever. Not a big deal. It's low enough on health that we're going to kill it soon anyway. Junpei. Junpei, my mans. You missed against the one that had less hit, I think. Hey, well, you're back on your feet because you got hit, so that's a plus, I think.
That wasn't good.
Man, what was that? Hey, at the very least, this one is... I'm gonna hit it with 2 just in case. I don't trust. But at least we only have one more left, so... this should, theoretically, go a lot smoother, yes? Traditionally, Horde bosses are easier once you trim down the Horde. But I don't know, maybe this thing will pull out, like, a multi-target Thunder Rain and obliterate us all in one go. It's... I wouldn't put it past Atlas, to be fair. But I doubt it. I think we're in the clear now.
Don't overdo it. Damn. Couldn't finish it off.
Okay, this thing's fully debuffed. I think you, Akihiko, can come off of support for now. I want to have you attack. Oh, fantastic. I will absolutely go for an all-out attack, for sure. Oh, and that'll kill it. Farewell.
The battle's over. Good job, everyone.
Was that a good job? We were hanging on an absolute prayer there, Fuka. But, I'm glad you are impressed. Let's get our treasure chest. Precious egg, cool. And go back to the foyer, if it's all the same. That was traumatic. We're fine. We're fine. Okay. So, I'm going to cut this one off here, but for the next one, let's just set up what we need. I think we need fire resistance, which I think, yeah, Rangda does have us covered. Black Frost is would also be a pretty okay choice in that regard, especially because it has Medea, which isn't ideal, but it also has Bufala. Yeah, Black Frost is a good choice. Orthrus, but then this one is level 29, so the boss's physical skills will probably own me. Do I have any good physical resistances? Rongda has strike resistance. Repel. I want slash and pierce if I have anything on me. If not, it's not a big deal. No. Okay. Well, Rongda and Black Frost seem to be our best bets then. And we will want to replace Junpei with Yukari. And I know that sounds like a weird choice given that I said I wanted fire resistance, but Junpei will be completely useless. We want magical attackers for this one. Which means Aegis is also out. Koromaru would be fine if his magic attack wasn't fire. And Mitsuru is completely out. She will die. Which means we're still with Akihiko and Ken, but now Yukari as our healer. Either way, and them's the plans. For now, thank you so very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. In the next one, we will continue up Tartarus a little bit more. Until then, please have a fantastic day, alright?